Sunday, August 13th, 2023, the 19th Sunday in Ordinary Time. It was the night immediately after the multiplication of the loaves. Jesus kind of bundles up the disciples in a boat and sends them to the other shore. He himself climbs the mountain alone, moves away from the crowds, and definitely enters into the world of God. This is why the disciples find themselves in the dark and amidst a stormy sea. Darkness is the image of disorientation, of doubt that captures even the most convinced believer. At times, even one who is driven by a strong faith feels alone. The waters in the Old Testament were an image describing the forces that lead to death. The Israelites were always afraid of the waters. Only the Lord, they said, is not afraid of whirlwinds and storms. He alone can hush the billows to silent waves. And he is the only one who treads on the waves of the sea. If we keep in mind this symbolism, we understand the fear of the disciples. The fear of being overwhelmed by the forces of evil and death. The boat was tossed about by the waves. The violent waves are the necessary tests the disciples must undergo if they are to grow and mature in their faith. Towards the end of the night, there appears Jesus, walking on the waves of the sea, as only God is capable of doing. The disciples do not recognize him. The reaction is very strange. What happened? Why don't they recognize him? Matthew is describing in biblical language the situation of the Christian communities of that time. They were tormented by many trials, distressed by doubts, and above all disoriented by the fact of not having the Master visibly with them, a Master who would have instilled safety and courage within them. The evangelist wants to enlighten them. Jesus is always close to his disciples, even to the end of the world. But not physically. It is not easy to be aware of his presence. He becomes recognizable only with the eyes of faith. The second part of the passage contains the dialogue between Peter and Jesus. It starts with the request of the apostle, "Lord, if it is you, command me to come to you on the water." The symbolic meaning of Peter's request is this. Peter, the first of the disciples, beholds the Master. The risen one, who crossed the waters of death and now walks on the sea, is in God's world. Peter knows he is called to follow him in the gift of life. But death scares him. He fears of not succeeding and asks the Lord to give him strength. As long as he keeps his eyes fixed on the Master, he is able to go to him. But when his faith falters, when he begins to doubt the choice he made, he sinks and is afraid of being overwhelmed, of losing his life. It is true also for every Christian. Let us then keep our eyes fixed on the Lord. Let us put our faith in him, knowing that he will keep us safe and secure amidst the stormy waters of our lives.